Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, and today we're looking at chapter 141 of World Trigger. Now this is something I normally review on a Saturday, and in the future I will be looking to do that, but for some reason the scanner laters took a while releasing this one. I believe it released and dropped really late Saturday night. I checked it before going to bed, which was about 12 o'clock, and I didn't see it on the Manga Reader website. So if those that do read this and watch my video know of a site that's more regular and it drops earlier for them, can you let us know so I can review that instead? Also with this as well, the version I did get around to reading was a really bad scan, I guess. It wasn't really cleaned up properly, and the translations seem a bit off and a little bit short in terms of pages, but that's why I'm doing the review today. So without further ado, let's get into this review. So the first point really is a summary of what's happened up to now, I guess. So we know from last week's chapter we had Katori and their unit going after Osamu, and basically Kakazaki, Kaikazaki going after Yuma Kuga. So, or Kuga Yuma, whichever way you want to say it. And we find out that basically what they've been trying to do is Katori's basically getting frustrated because of all the wires. And she's kind of thinking to herself, all this guy's looking to do is use all of his energy, just subduing us with these wires. And then on the flip side, what basically Kakazaki's team are looking to do is to push back Yuma using gunfire. And basically he's got his shields up and they're pushing him into a more open area so they can attack. So this is an interesting strategy from both teams, bearing in mind the location there, and they look like they know what they're doing map wise, but this is an interesting setup for the future points that come up next. So let's start focusing on Yuma Kuga. So the battle with the Kakizaki team is heating up. I mean, Kakizaki's lost his arm, which puts him a bit off balance from an attacking point of view. Although he's the leader and his real focus is on the attacking side of things, having his arm lost throws him off balance and puts him at a disadvantaged situation, which is good. The main shooters, the gunners, really are Fumika Teruyo and Kotaro Tomoe. They're the ones that are doing the shooting realistically in this situation, but the more ambidextrous one of the two seems to be Kotaro Tomo, because he does this attack where he's got his sword ready, the trigger that works in the sword form, or Kogetsu I think it is, and he's shooting at the same time. So I don't know how he does it. Like, he's got his sword ready and he's shooting, so he does this attack where he can effectively attack with bullets to pin back Yuma and attack him with his Kagetsu. Now that's interesting because he seems to be the more well-rounded attacker, although Fumika Teruya is the lady of the group, seems to be the more of an all-rounder. It seems she's more on the gunning and the range side than Kotaro Tomoe. And basically as he attacks, Yuma uses his grasshopper to push him in the air, and even though they tell him that, look, careful of the sniping range, he couldn't do anything to stop himself getting shot with a lead bullet, getting dropped and decapitated and taken out of the situation. Now you got to understand, this is very important strategy. So it's not because Kotaro Tomoe attacked, it's because they know of his skill and they wanted to take him out of the equation as soon as possible to put the other team in a further disadvantage. So I'll explain a little bit more on a further point, but I just want to specifically mention that here now. So then this leaves a situation where it's Kaizaki and Fumika Teruya against Yuma Kuga, with their more attack-minded backup being taken out of the equation. That's point number 2. Point number 3 is strategy, and this is really the discussion that Katori's team is having with their the unit operator, and it's really a case of, why don't we just ignore Osamu? And the discussion hits the nail on the head. If you do, it makes it worse in the long term, because he's just going to set up more traps and we have to deal with him now. So it's important that, although people think that Osamu is just this weak kite and he's an integral key member of this team, he's the captain, this wire situation has added another dynamic, which I'll discuss more in the follow-up point coming up. But just to give the element of mobility to such a dangerous attacker like Yuma Kuga, it just really adds that lethalness to there. Because within a second, Yuma Kuga took out Kotaro Tomoe, or Tomoe Kotaro, whichever way it's meant to be pronounced, instantly. So it's important that both teams realize how integral Osamu Mikomu is, and not to take him lightly, which sets up point number 4, the battle that continues up on Mikamu Osamu side. So point number 4 really kind of drilled home the importance of Osamu Mikomu, because they're forced to having to fight him and they need to take care of the wires. And even though on the other side, when they tried to do that with Yuma, they got dealt with, it's important to realize that he's added another level to this game by adding these red wires that are meant to be, basically they're meant to be distractions. But what they do is, not only do they distract you from the real wires, they distract you from hidden mechanisms that are involved in this whole wire setup. He is literally Osamu Mikomu is really turning into a spider. He's got you in the web now. There's so many hidden tricks and abilities that we're going to find out. And the first way we find this out is by Katori. Katori, even though she knows, she's saying that this is a distraction, and she's telling her member, you need to be careful of this, it does not make a difference. It does not make a legal difference at all. She trips over, she gets lead bulleted to the leg. She has to chop off a leg to survive. What this effectively does do is set up the next stage. Now I'll explain that more in point number 5, and it's the solutions that both teams have. So bear with us. Point number 5. So the final point, the strategies of both teams now, the setup for the next chapter. So effectively what happens is the Kakizaki team is down to 2 members. Kakizaki is looking to stay, and basically Fumika Teruya, the female character, who's more of a gunner than she is an all-rounder, although she's labelled as an all-rounder, she's looking to be sent after Chika. They need to deal with her apparently, because she's like also a key part of this equation, right? Notice that she's more on the side of range, and who does a range suit? Chika. That's point number 1 to bear in mind. On the flip side, when you go to Katori team has sent Rokuro, who is the gunner from their team, to take care of the sniper. So bearing in mind the range advantage is with Chika, and they've been sent to deal with her. Notice that the gunners or the ranged fighters are going to deal with her. How is that going to be possible? How they're going to deal with that range, I don't know. But I do know that Fumika Teruyu, I think she's got Asteroid, so she will probably try to use that to kind of help the other member, Rokuro, kind of double team her, I guess. What we are basically going to see is kind of a one-on-one. I say kind of because Yuta Miura's still there on the Katori side against Osamu. So I'm guessing he's going to be taken out of the equation at some point very quickly. And it is going to become a one-on-one. So you find this dynamic interesting because it's ace versus captain, even though Katori is the meant to be the ace and the captain and the things based around her. She doesn't act like a captain. Rokuro acts like the captain. So for me, it's ace versus captain, where Samu's the captain on that team, and for Tomokomo B, and Kaizaki is the captain on this side, and Yuma is the ace for that team, for Tokoma B, and Katori is the ace for the Katori unit. Even though she's meant to be the captain, she doesn't act like it. So that's really what's going to happen dynamic-wise, how they take Yuta and Mayuri out of the equation. And notice the attackers that can get close, all the ones we've noticed so far, have had limbs missing or taken out. For example, Katori. For example, Miura. Miura lost her arm, Katori's lost her leg just now, right? Kakizaki, who's an attacker that needs both arms, is off balance using one arm. He's lost a limb as well. The only person that didn't lose a limb was really the gunners. So you can see how that sets up is interesting. But I'm going to leave that with you now. Something to think about. What did you think of the chapter? Let me know in the comment section below. If there's anything I missed, slight nuances, particular details that are going to be important later on, let me know in the comment section below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the chapter and you enjoyed my review, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. greatly shows your support to me. I really want to build a community around each different manga that I do, and hopefully build something up together. I've got to 51 subscribers. I'd love to get to 100, on the path to 1,000 by the end of the year. I'm sure we can do it, so hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, and let's make a community out of this. But as always, peace, and I'll see you in the next video.